Hello, I'm Carl Peterson. I'm the Senior Manager for Special Projects at the Charter Cities Institute. I'm joined here today by Lachie. Lachie, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, my name's Lachie Gordon. I am the CEO at Green Heart Kilifi.
Great. Could you go ahead and tell us a little bit about Green Heart Kilifi?
Sure. So we're building a mixed-use eco town on the coast of Kenya in Kilifi. That's between Mombasa and Malindi. And we've been building it for a few years now. Started moving into the operational phase. We're leaving around 70% of our land mass to green space, and trying to show how development can have a positive impact on the environment and the community around it.
And then how did you go ahead and start working on Green Heart Kilifi, and then when did you start working on it?
Sure. I came to Kilifi first around 8 years ago. My background is actually in festivals and large-scale events in the UK, and so I was asked to come and help out with the Beneath the Baobabs New Year Festival, which happens in Kilifi every New Year. Help them with their operations and did some training. And this opportunity came up. I started speaking to the landowners. The festival is also on the same landowner's land, and realized that my experience in basically building small towns and or good-sized towns, temporary towns in the UK, and taking them down again throughout every summer for more than a decade, was transferable to delivering a project like this. So yeah, that, and then experience in community building. So came back a couple of years later, having brought the funding for the project, the initial seed funding, and here we are. So that was, as I said, I first came to Kilifi 8 years ago, and the project's been running for 5 years or so, and then kind of in an operational phase for the last 2 years.
Was it anything in particular that made you want to go back to Kilifi after you went there for the festival? And what was it that made you want to?
I mean, the community, actually. I think it's remarkable to be able to move to a place, halfway across the world. I moved from London and find a welcoming, diverse community who genuinely make you feel at home, and it's an interesting community because there's kind of some shared values around the certain nodes of kind of interests around environmentalism, creativity, education. There's an amazing school there, an international school, and I now have a 3-year-old son, and so he'll be going there. Really beautiful school with an environmental bent on their education. And so overall it was the community, really. It's just it's this kind of mix of different interests, but yet same kind of values of wanting to live somewhere connected to nature, yet still in a productive, vibrant kind of community.
Do you think anything about that is specific about Kenya, or was it just it was maybe this particular community or group of people that happened to form there and it happened to be in Kenya?
I think it's definitely grounded in the Kenyan culture, for sure. The mix of people is there are a lot of expats like myself, and then there's a lot of Kenyans from very different backgrounds there as well, and so the kind of flavor and culture of the community and what's kind of bubbling up there is definitely really grounded in Kenya. It's still quite, I would say, quite different to a lot of places that you might settle elsewhere in the country. I'm sure that there's kind of a similar vibe in parts of Nairobi. It's a big, bustling city with all sorts of different vibes. Yeah, I think it's pretty unique.
Yeah. How's the weather? Kenya's weather's very nice, very sort of mild. Mombasa's a little hot and sweaty.
Yeah.
But how's Kilifi?
Yeah, it's hot.
Hot.
It's hot, but I'm Scottish, and so been brought up in the cold weather, and the climate, whilst there are times of year where it gets a bit uncomfortable, it just lends itself to a kind of ease of living, which I think is really unique. Being able to, it sounds silly and simple, but not putting socks on every day, you know, like the basic stuff. And then, you know, my son's just like naked the whole time. You know, it's just a really like yeah, it's just a really nice free life, and it's partly because of that climate. Yeah.
For what it's worth, in my experience with the international travels, I've seen a lot of expats from the UK of various kinds end up in like more tropical places. So it's not a shock to me
No.
that you decided to end up in one as well. Something I think is very interesting. You're actually we've had a couple projects actually that the sort of main entrepreneur behind it has a background in events or entertainment organizing. So do you think there's anything particular about that? Like you mentioned that your job was basically setting up and taking down temporary cities for festivals, but do you think there's anything in particular that beyond that makes folks involved in festivals or entertainment interested in ultimately going and building something more permanent?
I mean, I think I can maybe just speak from my experience. The kind of events that I've been involved in are very kind of community focused and very kind of, like if I was pushed, although it's, like categorizing things as sometimes like sort of, misses certain aspects, but the kind of transformational festival scene, which is really what my event. So I ran various other people's festivals, but I had my own festival for 13 years as well. And the festivals I really was doing it kind of to be involved in are in this kind of category of transformational festivals. And it's very community based, very kind of personal impact focus, to be able to temporarily live in a space where anything is possible. I think is a very inspiring place. And I think maybe, and I guess again, I can just speak for myself. My experience in those events has been one of having my eyes open to the fact that anything is possible if you just kind of, crack on with it. And I think that, that was really my mindset at the beginning of this project, is like, yeah, we can do this. Sounds awesome. Let's get on with it. So maybe that's a part of it, because they're not, going about and saying, I'm going to go and build a new city. That's, that's quite a thing to say and commit to, right? So yeah, maybe that. I think that also I've actually just hired my operations manager that I mentioned to you. He also comes back from an events background. And I think the complexity of the mix of different aspects that it comes into putting on a large event or building a city, I think really are quite similar. There are so many interacting elements. When you're thinking about your power runs, you also need to be thinking about the entertainers. You know what I mean? It's like how much power does this individual require to do their entertainment? So there's this creative aspect, which is completely inextricable from the technical aspects. And I think that's the same when you think about, how you're going to be able to deliver this, what is a kind of creative design of a master plan, the different aspects, how the community is built, how the master plan physically interacts with how people will interact with each other as they become a community, and how they can be powered technically, how they can access water technically. Yeah, so I don't know. I think that there is a lot of similarity, I think.
Are there any final thoughts you'd like to leave our viewers with?
I would just like to welcome everyone to come and check out our project in Kilifi. It's a wonderful place to visit with lots of lovely places to be on the beach and kite surfing, but also, as I've mentioned, just a really amazing community to lock into. So yeah, come and visit us.
Lachie, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.
And have a great day.
Thanks a lot.